So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the EcoFlow River 600 Max. Now, I did post a video on this, on how it did catch on fire with smoking. It definitely singed, but I want to make sure that people understand that I'm going to be going over that original video in this whole video. And you need to understand a few things. I'm going to do a load of laundry off of this, and it is going to get overheated, and then it is going to get singed. Doing the laundry is not what made this singe and stop working. Basically, at one point, the laundry got more than 600 watts output, and so this shut off because it went into overload mode, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. So this worked properly. But specifically in the user manual, it says that after doing a long, heavy discharge, you should not charge this up until it is cooled down. When I did that video originally, this was not running for very long, and it was not running a very heavy load for very long. And to that point, the case was not even warm. So with that, I didn't classify it as a long, heavy load because it wasn't. Basically what happened is I started to recharge it, and this thing singed, it fried. And I'm going to show you all of that here in 1 second, but I just want to make sure you guys understand this is the replacement, and it did get fried, the original one. Fanny, I want to give her a huge shout out at EcoFlow. She did an amazing job helping me out, and the whole EcoFlow team was very responsive by email. I had difficulty by phone, but by email, they even emailed me back after hours and had a shipping label for me that very same night when this original unit fried. For some clarification, this is not a prototype unit. The prototype units have blue handles with gray bodies. This is the exact same one that you get off of Amazon or off their website. And truly, it does not matter if I'm getting these units for free in order to review them. Most of the units I have paid for out of my own pocket, as you guys have seen in all of my videos. This is one of the units that I did get for free from EcoFlow, and I truly appreciate them sending that out. That in no way affects my review. If it's bad, it's bad. It's that simple. If it's good, it's good. It's that simple. Most of you don't know, but I'm an Eagle Scout with a bronze palm. Being trustworthy, which is the first part of the Scout Law, is extremely important to me. I've built solar generators for many years now. I've actually helped many of the top solar generator companies design solar generators, and I've been a consultant for solar generators for some time now. So with all that being said, let's get into this video and I'll show you all the details about the EcoFlow River 600 Max. Well, a lot of my videos start off by going over all the detailed specs and all those things about the River. And all I'm going to do in this video is I'm just going to put it over here on the side for you to review. And I'm going to start getting right into testing this. You can also find this information on my website at poweredportablesolar.com. I'll have a review there about the EcoFlow River 600 Max. But one of the first things I want to do is actually see if this will run a load of laundry. But just to be clear, the Max means it has the expandable battery on it. Normally when you just buy the River 600, it does not have this expansion battery. It only has the internal battery, which is about 300 watt hours. With the expansion battery added to it, it makes it about 600 watt hours. It's got about a 600 watt inverter. So let's get to it and see if this can run a load of laundry. And then we'll do a bunch more tests, like a full load capacity test using the light bulbs, as well as a bunch of other things to see what it's good for. So I'm here in my laundry room. I got my River here. I'm going to turn on the AC side. I'm going to plug this in. I have no idea if this is going to work. I have not tested this. Laundry here. Soap. Reach it right here. And turn this on. I'm just going to set this to normal. I'm going to do warm water. We're going to do a high spin. Just give it a go. Let's see what happens here. Alright, well that started, so I'll check back in about an hour when this is done, or if it doesn't make it to the end, we'll see. So I didn't see exactly at what time this turned off, but it's at 89%, and it actually had an overload issue. So it keeps turning off all on its own here. So I'm going to unplug this and try turning this on. Oh yeah, it's turning red, saying overload, so I'm not sure how to reset this then. Ah, I remember now. Overload protection. Reset that. Turn this on. Maybe need to reset it while it's on. Well, there's kind of a flicker there. No, it's not resetting. Maybe we need to hold it. No, keeps turning off on its own. Okay, so you may be wondering why I'm in the dark here. Luckily I have a little flashlight here in my pocket. So I just plugged in this wall charger into the side of the EcoFlow, and I plugged it in. It usually takes a few seconds for it to boot up, and I turned the on button, and the power went out in my office, which means I just flipped the breaker in the electrical box trying to power this thing. So I turn it on, it pretends like it's gonna work for a second, turns off. Yeah, right when I wish I was filming it, right when I turned it on, this light here went red and all the power just went off in my office. I'm gonna see what happens. Maybe it'll happen again. I gotta go flip the breaker first. Okay, try this again. Oh my gosh, there is smoke coming out of this. Oh my gosh, this is on fire or something. I am not even kidding right now. Can you see that? That is freaking smoke coming out. There's crackling going on in there. Okay, I'm getting this outside. Okay, well, I didn't have a warm jacket or shoes on or anything. I just brought this out here on, a non-burnable surface because this thing was freaking smoking. I mean, I know with my EcoFlow Delta, when it gets really hot, it won't recharge. And so maybe this had, I don't know, some sort of issue with the heating, and so it turned off. And then by plugging in that wall charger, it just shorted something. There was a good amount of smoke when I turned the camera off and started running upstairs with this. Like, it was actually had some solid smoke coming out, so it definitely fried something really good. And even as of right now, like, you can still hear like little crackling going on inside, and it's not really smoking anymore. It's definitely warm, like right here on this side of where the charging ports are, like right up near the top. The whole rest of the case is actually cold now, just from a couple minutes of being out here. It's below freezing here in Idaho. So there's definitely something wrong with the charging side, because it wasn't smoking. There was no smell or anything like that in the laundry room or anything. It was when I took it downstairs and I plugged it in and it started smoking. I've been using this for about a week now, just to run my laptop portably around the house. I was just doing little tests, running things in my office and stuff like that, and it's been perfectly fine. I've had zero issues. Okay, so with all that being said, I have my new unit here, and it is a good unit. I've used this for another few days before getting into this video recording again. Has had zero issues. I've already done lots of tests on it to ensure that it wasn't going to catch on fire again. So we're going to go ahead and do our light bulb test. We're going to run 600 watts for as long as this can run. I've got my kilowatt meter hooked up here. So this is going to be a high load for an extended period of time. This is going to use it as hard as it can go, which means as soon as I'm done doing this, I'm not going to throw it on the charger. So let's go ahead and get right into this, and we will see how long this will run 600 watts. Okay, well that did very, very well for 47 minutes. And on here, according to the kilowatt meter, it says we used 450 watt hours total. The fans were blowing the whole time. It is blowing very warm air. It actually almost feels like, like a really slow speed hand dryer, like in a bathroom. Oh, and there it just went. So this is definitely warm this time because that ran for 47 minutes nonstop. The air is very, very warm coming out of here. And so I'm going to go ahead and let this cool off for quite a while and then charge it back up. Okay, well it has been about 3 hours since we ran that test. Now it still says it's at 0%. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the wall charger here. It is completely cooled down. There's seriously no heat or anything coming off of this. Let's see what happens. Appears to be charging up just fine. No fires or anything like that going to happen this time. The River 600 here has a 576 watt hour battery with a 600 watt inverter. That is not a very big system. This is not going to be used for emergency power. This is going to be something for like camping, running some lights, maybe recharging some drones, cameras, use it at the beach or use it in the woods. Real lightweight power. Now normally this is about $600, and I'll put some links down below to all the proper equipment here. I've also recently got this Duracell unit. Now this is very different, even though it's much bigger than this. They have very similar capacities. Where this Duracell unit differs is this has like a 1400 watt inverter, but it has about a 660 watt hour battery, so about 80 watt hours more than this. But this is ginormous and weighs like 60 pounds or 55 pounds, something like that. And then to compare as well, I've got my Patriot solar generator here. This one here has a 690 watt hour battery, about 120 watt hours more than this. Now this weighs somewhere around like 45 pounds, this is like 17 pounds, and this is like 55 pounds. So both of these are very heavy for not much more battery capacity than this. Now what this differs in is this has a 1800 watt inverter, so this is definitely going to be the highest, and it has a lithium iron phosphate battery. The crazy thing about the Duracell is it has a lead acid, or an SLA, sealed lead acid battery. It can add more batteries to it, but it only has about 100 watts max solar input. And I'll be doing another video on this as well as this here in the near future. To really blow your mind, you can find these for about $600, depending on where you look. These are about $600. This here is about $2,500. Now granted, you can't really buy this without also buying their solar panel and some user manuals, stuff like that. But for the price, this is actually better than these in my opinion, because with a nearly 600 watt hour battery, I'm not going to run 1800 watt hours. I mean, that's like 20 minutes, 15 minutes of runtime, especially after it goes through an inverter at a high discharge. What would be different is these units can handle something like a load of laundry, whereas this can't because this has a smaller inverter. So with all that being said, just keep that in mind. The lithium option is really going to be the best option. Now, one of the cool things about the EcoFlow River is it does have a fast recharge rate from the wall. But I want to do a couple more things off this just to see how it works with normal day use. And so I want to run some of those tests and see how well the EcoFlow River 600 does. Well, I got to get some work done, so I'm basically powering my laptop, my screen here, speaker, even this electric blanket right here, all powering it off this right now. I haven't turned on the electric blanket yet, but the screen, speaker, and laptop are all running off this right now. And so I'm not going to use it very hard. Because it's been cold, I really like to use this electric blanket rather than using a space heater in the room. I find that if I just heat up my body, then I can work just as well as if the whole room was heated. And last night got down to 4 degrees, and so it got pretty cold. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And I usually don't put this up on high. I usually have it down about 3 or 4 out of 10. So that went up about 100 watts or so. And I've got some video editing to do, some article writing, more content for you guys. And so I'm going to go ahead and get to that. We'll drain this down a little bit slower rate than doing a heavy load, and then we'll charge it off the solar panels. Alright, I am all the way down to 35%, so it's kind of later in the afternoon, it's about 3 o'clock, and so we're going to see how much power we can get off 2 100 watt solar panels. Let's go ahead and start charging it by solar. Okay, well, it's a perfectly clear sunny day, but it's about 3:15 in the afternoon, and so the sun is not at its highest point. It's a little bit lower, but still really good sun. I've got 2 of the Rigid 100 solar panels from poweredportablesolar.com. These are seriously the best panels I've ever used. That's why I always test with them. These are connected in parallel, and I've got this watt meter, and it says we're right at 20 volts. That's without a load. The max input here is 25 volts up to 12 amps. So right here, we're going to be making right about 12 amps, maybe just slightly under. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these here. It just hit 194. Dang, that's really good. So here's actually getting to 198. It's really hard to see. I apologize for that. That might be a little bit better angle. 186. It's kind of hard because the LED screen here is kind of flashing up and down too. And then right on here, 197 is what we're at right at this moment. So that is really good. I'm very impressed that it's actually getting that much out of it. 186 watts going into a 200 watt solar charge controller is actually really pretty impressive. I'm very happy with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this sit here and charge up for a bit. Okay, it's been nearly an hour and a half. We're up to 78% right now. That's not bad at all. It says we're putting in about 100 watts on there. It says it's very similar, about 105 watts. And solar panels are just starting to get in the shade. You can see I just got it basically set up here against our outdoor box. And there's just a little bit of shade starting to go on the cells right there. So I've just moved the 2 panels just against the truck very carefully, make sure I'm not scratching anything. And the sun's getting pretty low and it's just about to go behind some other tall trees. And it's got the cable going right over here to the river. And now we can see we're making about 150 watts right now. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the solar panels because we know those are actually working really well. And we're going to use the car charger and just see how well the car charger works driving around in the truck. Okay, I've got it plugged in to the DC 12 volt plug here in the truck, pulling 125 watts. So I've got some errands to run real quick and we'll see what we can get this up to. Okay, so I've only been going for about 10 minutes. I got to my first destination already and I turned off the truck, got up about 2 or 3%. But as I turned off the truck, my outlet here in the center console turned off. So that's really good. And you just want to make sure that when your vehicle is off, it is not charging. That is one really easy way to drain your battery in your vehicle. Well, there you go. It got all fully charged up by driving around. It really didn't take that long and it really worked well. Now, to the original point of this thing catching on fire, singeing, frying, whatever you want to call it, that I think was kind of a fluke. On the EcoFlow Delta, I remember when this got drained and overheated, I tried plugging in the wall charger and nothing happened. So it had some level of protection there to make sure that after it was used heavily that it could not be charged. For some reason that didn't make it into the river. So you just have to make sure if you are going to get this unit, if you use it hard, don't charge it up from the wall shortly after using it real hard. I think that's really what it boils down to. Everything else has been flawless about this. I was really amazed by the solar input. None of the other solar generators that are about this same size can input that much solar. In fact, not even the Jackery 1000 inputs that much solar, and that's about twice as big as this. Would I recommend the EcoFlow River 600 Max? I think yes. You just have to make sure you don't overuse it and try to recharge it. That's the only caveat that I have found in my testing. Maybe others will have other experiences, but I really do like this unit. I actually like this more than the Jackery 500. And the Jackery 500 really is the gold standard when it comes to these sized solar generators. Another thing that's really cool about this unit is this USB-C port right here. It actually is rated to 100 watts output. Now, unfortunately, I don't have anything that will actually output 100 watts through a USB-C. I'm hoping to get something here in the near future. I do like this little light feature here on the front. When it's on dim, it's just enough to like light up a tent or a small space. The bright setting is really not that bright, but it definitely helps light up a campsite or something like that. And then of course you've got your SOS setting. You do have a regulated 12 volt outlet right here, as well as these 2 small barrel ports here in 12 volts. On the outlets here, I think I would have preferred the outlets to be facing another 90 degrees because sometimes you have those big box plugs that take up a lot of space. But for a unit this size, having 3 outlets, that's the most amount of outlets on any unit of this size. And so really, this has a 600 watt inverter, which is bigger than this, and that, and that, and that. And those are the 500 watt generators that I have. But this has a larger inverter, slightly larger battery, better solar input, and more outlets on it. So really, all in all, this is the best 500 watt-ish sized solar generator that I've tested and that I see on the market currently. Just don't overheat it and recharge it off the wall, cause a fire. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, the warranty protection has been really great, and I really do appreciate EcoFlow for sending this unit out. I'm not sponsored in any way as far as them paying me. They just sent me this unit for my honest review. So I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Please hit that like and subscribe button, click the bell, that way you get notified of when I put out more content like this. If you found this helpful, go ahead and share it with a friend. Share it with someone who may be interested in a real light and small portable solar generator that'll be good for just basic needs when you're out and about. This is definitely the winner right here. So if you're looking at getting one of these, click the show more button down below. I'll have links down there. And thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.